Hi, this is Professor Rujo Marino with an overview of Module 4. Module 4 is a very important module in personal finance because it covers insurance. And insurance is an extremely important way to manage risk. Okay, so you're going to be learning a lot about insurance. The most important thing to remember on Module 4, like all the other modules, you are opening up and starting that module to-do list. This is very, very important to follow things step by step. In Module 4, we are going to be doing the insurance chapters in the book in reverse order. Okay, so we're going to start with Chapter 10, which covers property and liability insurance, which is basically what your auto insurance is and what your homeowners or renters insurance is like. It's very important for college students to know a lot about that. And then we'll move on to Chapter 9, which is about health insurance and disability insurance. Very important concepts to understand. And we'll finish up with Chapter 8 on life insurance. Just remember that this particular module starts with things that are video introductions in step 1. Okay. So before you start reading into the book and with Chapter 10, please watch the short videos here so you can understand risk and insurance. And then it's very important to do the very first discussion board questions here, which is about insurance for college students. Okay, so this is your very first step. This can be done right away. Then chapter 10 is broken really into two parts. The first part is on homeowners and renters insurance. And so it's very important to start reading and learning those key concepts that are involved. There are lots of links here for videos. I put these here on purpose. They're nice ways to learn the concepts in a very short period of time. Each video is usually between 1 and 3 minutes, and the purpose is to explain these concepts to you briefly and to help you understand what you're reading. There is a discussion board question regarding homeowners insurance. It's really sort of about renters insurance mostly. I'm going to ask you to do a discussion board about what your stuff might be worth. So you'll sort of know a little bit about that. And then sort of understanding renters insurance and how important it is to you. Then we're moving into auto insurance. This is extremely important because almost everybody drives or knows someone who drives. So it's really important to sort of understand the coverage here. There are some, again, great videos that I have to summarize car insurance and factors that go into why car insurance costs so much for some people and not so much for others. There is an activity in which you're going to analyze your policy or your parents' policy compared to some of the minimums that the state of New York requires and what other people in New York commonly purchase. There is also a discussion board question asking you to review the state of auto insurance in 2021. Then we're going to be looking at the question of liability and negligence in more detail. It's very important for you to understand personal liability. It's critical because you're responsible for it, whether you understand it or not. So this is very, very important for you to look into. And the uses of what's called an umbrella policy is also explained here. You're going to be on the road with a lot of people that don't have insurance, or they buy the minimal insurance and they might cause damage. So, are you protecting yourself against that? That is a risk, needs to be protected against. So, you're going to be reading a little bit about that in that discussion board question, and chapter 10 comes to a close. Chapter 9 is about health care insurance and disability insurance, two really important things. There's a lot of work to do on this, clearly, as a country, but certainly for your understanding. Certainly to watch and understand how health insurance costs so much is really important. the difference between Medicare and Medicaid, um, the difference between an HMO, a PPO, EPO, what Blue Cross and Blue Shield is about, what Medicare and Medicaid are about, etc. There are many discussion boards here, um, including what happens when you have a medical emergency and no health insurance. That's happening to close to 30 million Americans that might need to go to the hospital at any point in time with no insurance whatsoever. What happens? We will talk a little bit too, and you'll be reading and answering questions about, do we have a national health insurance crisis? You'll be reading a bit about the statistics currently, and I'm sure you'll come to some understanding. I'm going to also be asking you a little bit to sort of explain why our medical bills are so high. We do have the highest healthcare costs in the world. And hopefully after you get through with this, you'll understand a lot more about why that's the case. Introducing you to disability is extremely important because a lot of people have very strange understandings of what disability is. It's super important for you to understand that anything can become a disability. It could be physical, could be mental. There are lots of things that are going on here, and it's important for you to know about them. There's a discussion board question that goes in detail about this as well. And then there's a Chapter 9 quiz. Chapter 8 is all about life insurance. Very important for you to understand what life insurance is and how it's calculated. There is a couple of discussion board questions. One specifically on the difference between term life and whole life, which is also called permanent life. And some interesting features about life insurance contracts and whether you're actually worth more dead than alive. Because believe it or not, that happens to some people. It's a horrible thing when it does because you're creating an incentive to sort of pull the plug. So here, Chapter 8 then ends with a quiz, and your exam on Module 4 encompasses all 3 chapters. Lots and lots of work to do. Again, what I do is I outline them step by step. I provide you with slideshows on each of the chapters, and then handy links for you to get to the activities and discussion boards and quizzes. At the bottom here, I have included some video chapter lectures from my previous classes, 2 that are on a large overview of all types of insurance, and then other lectures that are specific to homeowners, auto, health, and life. So I hope they all help you in some way understand the material and help you do well in the course. Hope you're enjoying and learning a lot of stuff.